From computer screen to the real world, what used to be a model is now a physical creation in front of you. 3D printing is the new wave to create new standard in healthcare and construction. This creates efficiency and efficacy. How does 3D printing turn the screen into the real world? Today I'll talk about 3 points. Firstly, 3D printing evolution. Secondly, I'll talk about how does 3D printing occur, what methods are used. Thirdly, I'll talk about how does 3D printing help jobs and fields. Now time to delve into the journey of 3D printing. My first point, will be the 3D printing evolution. According to Forbes, Chuck Hull invented stereolithography in 1984. This uses UV light to create computer images into real life objects. Imagine in the 6th grade, you were put into a classroom. In this classroom, they tell you to go wild with this 3D printing. You've never heard of this before. You start experimenting with the computer screens, and what you made on the computer screen has now come to life. According to Fabricated, they discovered that the biggest developments with 3D printing happened around the 2000s. The majority of this class has grown up around the 2000s. Most of us born 2005, maybe some born earlier and some born later. We've seen firsthand how far technology has advanced, speeding up what we do and how we do it in a smoother and more efficient manner. The more 3D printing has evolved, the more each method has as well. The methods of 3D printing is my second point. According to the Journal of Cleaner Production, FDM means fuel, deposition, modeling. This is thermoplastic used to create layers. Imagine you are doing a DIY project in your home. While constructing this DIY project, you realize I may not have all the pieces necessary to build this table. You are now able to 3D print the piece that you need for a much lower price and for a much more effective and sturdy alternative. This way, it saves you a trip to the store, saving gas and saving time and money. According to Advanced Manufacturing, SLS is selective laser sintering. This is a laser that fuses powder together to create layers and parts. You have walked into grocery stores before, you've walked into a jewelry store before. When you walk into a jewelry store, sometimes you'll see the sign saying free engravings. Now think about how this might be possible. This is possible due to 3D printing being so readily available and so quick. SLS takes full advantage of custom engravings, and they are able to make custom engravings much easier, much cheaper, and much more readily for the consumer. We've talked about the evolution of 3D printing, and we've also talked about the methods which allow for it. Now for my third point, 3D printing in the workforce. According to World Economic Forum, bioprinting will allow for making new tissue. This can lead for prosthetics. Put yourself in my shoes. You have 3 fingers, you need a prosthetic. You enter any prosthetic place and they quote you for a price. You see how ridiculous these prices can be. You realize that now, according to the new 3D printing, this can be much cheaper. And you wait and you get it for much cheaper. According to Deloitte, new prototypes will now reduce the development times for spacecrafts. Imagine you're an aerospace engineer who wants to get a spaceship up in the sky as quickly as possible. The best way you can do it is by using 3D printing. You will make everything for much less and much quicker. In conclusion, how does 3D printing turn the screen into the physical world? Today I've talked about 3 points. The evolution of 3D printing technology, primarily Chuck Hull's invention with stereolithography in 1984. Secondly, the methods like FDM and SLA, creating an easier way for jewelers and homeowners to make their own changes. Thirdly, how it's changing healthcare. Prosthetics are rapidly becoming cheaper. 3D printing holds no bounds. The only bound is your imagination.